Introduction. Meditation and sleep. Sleep problems are common in today's society. We know that driving while tired is just as dangerous, if not more, than driving while drunk, yet most working adults do it every day. Lack of sleep over time can increase the risk of heart disease, depression, anxiety, and high blood pressure. We are quick to turn to medicine to give us a quick fix for our sleep problems, but they fail to treat many of the underlying causes. This is where meditation can have a huge effect. Meditation provides a way to allow our body and mind to align so that we can regulate our stress response. It also improves our cognitive function and mood. Meditation will allow your brain to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which tells your body that it is time to relax and sleep. When you practice mindful meditation, you allow your thoughts to come and go without judgment. It is expected for your brain to wander off when you are meditating, but it is important to notice when your thoughts have drifted away from breathing and bring it back once you do. Over time, it will drift less often, and you will become aware of it much faster. While we all breathe without thinking about it, it is helpful to actively breathe when we feel stressed or out of control. This allows us to bring our focus back to the simplest thing we can control, our life force, our breath. One of the simplest ways to reset and ground yourself is by using a technique called square breathing. For this technique, you breathe in for a count of 4, hold it for a count of 4, breathe out for a count of 4, and pause for a count of 4. This will help you break out of the overthinking and stress cycles so that you can find your center again. When you prepare to meditate, it is important that you create a peaceful space in which to practice. Before beginning, it is important to make sure that all of your tasks for the day are done, alarms are set, and any notifications are silenced. The next thing you will want to make sure of is that all distractions are removed. This includes turning off the TV and other electronics, making sure the kids are in bed and tucked in, and limiting how much light is in the space. You will also want to make sure that you are in a position that works for you. If you are physically uncomfortable, it will be difficult to focus on anything else, and you will risk doing more harm than good. There are many different types of meditation that are helpful when we are trying to sleep. It is important to try all of them to see which works best for you. Guided meditation is a recorded meditation where someone will walk you through the steps of the meditation session. This is great for beginners because it gives you something to focus on while you are relaxing and meditating. It is less intimidating than being told to sit in a quiet room and listen to the sounds of the forest until you relax. As mentioned before, mindfulness meditation allows you to focus on your breathing as you meditate, and allows your mind to wander without any judgment. The goal is to bring your mind back to your breathing as soon as you notice it has gone off somewhere else. A body scan will allow you to focus on each muscle group in your body, so that you can learn where you hold your tension, and focus on relaxing it away. The last form of meditation for a wandering mind is concentration meditation, which is exactly what it sounds like. You pick a topic to focus on and observe where your thoughts go. It is similar to mindfulness and body scan meditations, but instead of focusing inwards, you focus on something external, like a soundtrack or image. No matter which you choose, the idea is to relax and recenter yourself, to allow for a good night's sleep and a reprieve from stress and overthinking. Chapter 1. Kingdom in the Clouds. 4-7-8 breathing. take a deep breath in for a count of 4. Hold it for a count of 7. Breathe out for a count of 8. Repeat up to 4 times to help you relax. Today was a long day. I wanted to leave it all behind me as I drifted off to sleep. I flew away to my private castle in the clouds. In my castle, I am the queen. There is something special about life beyond the horizon. There are no deadlines or bills. Nobody demands anything of your time. I can sit on my throne all day and do nothing, or I can explore the kingdom and all of the magical creatures that inhabit it. I have my best friends by my side at all times. My most loyal advisor, Echo, and my beautiful winged horse, Sorcia. Our favourite place to go is the cotton candy farm. Farmer Vin grows the sweetest cotton candy from the clouds below. It comes in so many beautiful colours. There is the ever-popular pink and blue, but there are also yellow, purple, and the prettiest mint green options. He lets us sample whatever we want when we come to visit. Echo, Sorcia, and I are not at the cotton candy farm. We are exploring the fanciful forest near the edge of the kingdom. We find unicorns and centaurs, mice and chipmunks, even a sweet dragon or two. We search for the sweetest berries to bring back to the castle for lunch, collecting them in our berry pouches attached to our hips. Sorcia enjoys flying into the trees to watch the birds fly high. Today we find our unicorn friend, Mystic, in the thickest part of the forest. She is playing with some of her best friends. "My queen, it is so good to see you today," Mystic squeals. "Would you like to meet my friends?" "Oh, Mystic, it is good to see you too," I reply. "I would love to meet anyone who you call a friend." "This is Sapphire and Twilight," she tells me. "Then we have Rain and Jewel." I can see where the unicorns get their names. Sapphire has the most stunning blue coat with a sparkly silver horn, while Twilight has a deep shiny coat that resembles the night sky. "It is lovely to meet you all," I tell them. I make my way around the group and pet their silky fur. "What are you playing on this fine morning?" "A unicorn game we like to call Bubble Pop, my queen," Rain giggles. "We paw at the ground around the bubble vent and see who can pop the most bubbles with their horns." Sorcia wants to play with her cousins, the unicorns. She doesn't think that the winged horses and horned horses should be anything other than best friends. Sometimes she has to remind her winged siblings of this, as a rivalry arises now and then. But everyone lives in peace and harmony in my kingdom in the clouds. My tiny tummy starts to grumble. It must be nearly lunchtime. Sorcia stays and plays with Mystic and her friends, as Echo and I return to the castle with our berries. We laugh and tell stories the whole way. "What is for lunch today, my queen?" Echo asks. "I think we will have raspberry cheesecake and cookies, Echo," I respond. In my kingdom in the clouds, calories don't exist, and you can eat whatever you want. The kitchen staff must have heard me as we walked into the castle, because there was a beautiful cheesecake and a plate of yummy cookies waiting for us as we entered the dining room. I always love eating sweets and desserts in the grand entertaining spaces of my castle. Echo and I pretend that the room is full of important people who have come to a party to celebrate us. We dance and sing as we gallivant around the room after enjoying our lovely lunch. Echo shows me her silly moves, and I giggle as I try to learn them. You know, Echo, I just don't think I can move like that, I tell her, after my 4th or 5th try. Oh, of course you can, my silly queen, Echo says as she takes my hands. Just follow me, and we will have you dancing like this in no time. We spin around the room, giggling and dancing. We don't have a care in the world. My hips learn to follow Echo's, and I finally dance just like her. When Saoirse returns, we have to show her these epic dance moves, I squeal, as I manage to repeat the moves without Echo's help. Of course we will. She can dance with us too. Echo takes my hands again and twirls me around the room. There is nothing but love and joy in the air. This is why I love my kingdom in the clouds. It doesn't take long for Saoirse to return from playing with her new unicorn friends. Did you have fun, Saoirse? I ask, as she finds us giggling on the ground in the great big dining room. Oh, I had the most wonderful time, Saoirse replies. She is floating about 3 inches off the ground. The unicorns showed me some tricks, and the bubble game was so much fun. What did you do while I was gone? We had cheesecake, and I showed our queen some new moves. Want to see? Echo replies. Saoirse squeals in excitement. Of course I do. I love to dance. Let's see what you've done. Echo turns the music up, and we dance and laugh while we show Saoirse what I learned. My hips move with the music, as my feet carry me around the room. Echo and I are having so much fun dancing together. Saoirse cheers us on and flies around our heads. We are a happy little family, dancing the afternoon away. The music dies down and the sun shifts as it streams through the windows. The afternoon turns into evening, and we decide to spend time in my endless library. As much as Echo loves dancing, I love reading. Saoirse chases the sunbeams that reflect off the clean desks. I find my favourite book and jump into the giant beanbag chair. Echo and Saoirse curl up at my feet to listen to me read about knights, valour and victory. They love all of the voices I use for all of the characters. I could probably recite this book with my eyes closed. I have read it so many times. Echo never gets tired of hearing this story, so I will read it every chance I get. When I am with my friends, nothing bothers me. The days fly by in a whirlwind of fun and adventure. My castle in the clouds is my safe space. Nobody bothers me here. The staff is friendly, my friends help me grow, and the creatures of the forest even stop by to say hello. But even here, the day must end. I say good night to all my friends. I curl up in my bed with a smile on my face. I had a fantastic day in my kingdom in the clouds. I know my friends will be here when I come to visit again, so I close my eyes and let sleep overcome me as I think about cotton candy, bubble games, and dancing all around the fancy dining room. No day could have been better than one spent with my friends in my kingdom in the clouds. Chapter 2. Drift Off with Sweet Poetry. Square breathing. Breathe in for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Breathe out through your mouth for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4. Repeat as necessary to release your anxiety and stress from the day. Let go. Lay your head down upon your bed. Let the thoughts flow. Off to dreamland you go. Today is done. Time to dream of fun. Rest your soul, so it may be whole. We can't change the past, so don't let it last. Your brain can hear every word you say. Make sure they are dear. A great way to end your day. Lay down your head right on your bed. What is said is said. Off to sleep you will be led. Release it all. The leprechauns dance and prance. Release the tension. Don't even mention the things you must do. When morning breaks and breakfast shakes, listen to them sing and let the notes ring. Say good night. Do not fight. The sleep that you need as it plants the seed. Lose yourself in joy as you watch the boy. Let the music fill his soul like there was an empty hole. Now it is no more, he is sure. Drift away as the cool winds sway. Tomorrow is a new day. Embrace freedom. Sing the song all night long. Feel the freedom. You don't need 'em. Some might stay another day. There is no reason to dwell. It will all end well. Let your eyes droop. Don't jump through the hoop. Drift away and enjoy your stay. Dreamland welcomes you and gives you your due. A peaceful place, covered in lace. No calls, no falls, no skinned knees. Relax your mind and you will find life can be a breeze. Do not disturb. Let them know you run the show from 9 till 5. Once the sun takes a dive, you are not on call at all. They can wait to learn their fate. It is not life or death, just take a breath. Simply separate and make everything feel great. When they try, don't let them cry. You are free in every degree. Leave a message at the tone. You will not answer the phone. Chapter 3. Craft Time. Simple body scan. Take a deep breath in through your nose, breathing into the tense areas on your body. Focus on where your breath goes. Breathe out through your mouth for twice as long. Work on relaxing your tense muscles and repeat. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. The click-clack of Sally's knitting needles relaxes away the tension of the day. Her craft time is her opportunity to escape from the hustle and bustle of the day. There is nothing better than watching a project come together. Today she is working on a sweater for her new granddaughter. Sally's daughter-in-law is set to give birth any day now. Her son could not be more excited to be a father. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. She dreams of teaching her how to knit and crochet. Sally's closet is full of yarn, just waiting to tell her what it will be. An experienced crafter knows that the material knows what it wants to be before they do. Sally has tried to make sweaters out of yarn that wanted to be scarves or blankets, and watched them transform before her eyes. Her house was full of the projects she completed over the years. Knitting has helped her through the stressful moments of her life. Knit, purl, knit, purl. When times are easy, Sally stocks up on yarn, picking up a little at a time. It brings her peace, knowing that she has a stash for when things are harder. She continues to knit the sweater, feeling it come together in her hands. She lets her mind wander back to a simpler time, before cell phones and computers, before everyone had access to each other 24 hours a day. David is around 6, and his sister is learning to talk. Emily wanders into Sally's craft room and finds some knitting needles and yarn. Sally is working on a large blanket. This is one she only works on during the cooler months of the year. She is lost in her project, trying to keep count of her stitches. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Sally hears a clicking sound as she is counting her stitches. She looks up and sees Emily trying to knit at her feet. Of course, at 15 months old she can barely hold the needles, but bless her, she is trying. Sally marks her stitch and makes a note on her pattern before setting her blanket aside. She picks Emily up and takes her hands and the knitting needles in her own. She casts on for a simple scarf. She sits in her rocking chair with Emily, knitting away for what seems like hours. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. From that moment on, Emily has a passion for knitting, just so she can be close to her mother. As she gets older, she learns how to knit by herself, and picks out her own yarn from the craft store. Her older brother is a great sport, and lets her use him as a model for all of her pink and purple scarves. Even when his friends tell him that he is weird for playing with his younger sister, he never lets her down. They have an incredible bond that most parents dream of for their children. Sally drifts back to the present and notices how far she has come. The sweater is nearly complete. It has been many years since she has had to worry about how many stitches were in a row. Her hands simply know after they complete the first few rows. As she finishes the cuffs and the hem of the sweater, she hears the phone ring in the kitchen. She sets the completed sweater to the side and makes her way to the phone. "Good evening, Emily. I was just thinking about you, darling," she says when she picks up. "Hi, Mum. Sorry to interrupt your craft time," Emily responds, "but you will never guess what happened today." "What is that?" Sally asks. "Lynette found my old knitting needles. She asked to learn to knit like Mummy and Grandma." Emily is nearly in tears of joy. She remembers the time she had with her own mother as she learned how to knit and crochet. Those skills helped her get through some of the most challenging times of her life. Sally feels a wave of joy wash over her. The legacy continues. Hopefully, David's little girl will want to learn as well. "Oh, Emily, I am so happy for you. I was just thinking about the day you first picked up my knitting needles when I was working on that massive blanket. You could barely hold them, but your efforts were commendable." Emily laughs as her mother recounts her mischievous exploits from her toddler days. Luckily, Lynette is a bit older and can hold the needles for herself. "Have you heard from Dave yet today?" Emily asks. "I haven't. It is still early," Sally tells her. "I am sure they are busy getting the last-minute things in place before Mer goes into labour." "When I spoke with them last night, it sounded like it was going to be any day now," Emily responds. "I can't wait to meet the little angel. I am excited to become an auntie." Sally smiles and remembers how Emily was in the days leading up to Lynette's birth. She seemed almost as excited today as she had 5 years ago. "Who is having this baby, you or Meredith?" Sally jokes. The entire family is ready for their newest member's arrival. "Thanks, Ma. Well, I know you want to get back to your craft room. I'm sure they will alert the troops as soon as something changes. Have a good night, Mum," Emily says. "Good night, Em. I am sure we'll be greeting David and Meredith's new bundle of joy soon." Sally hangs up the phone and returns to her craft room. The sweater needs a few tiny additions before she can begin her next project. She adds a small heart and flower to the front of the sweater, and folds it up to place it with the rest of the things she will bring to hospital when she gets that fateful call. Something in her heart tells her that going to sleep is not a good idea yet. So she heads to her yarn closet and pulls out what she will need for a small teddy bear for each of her granddaughters. Before she finishes, a ball of pink yarn catches her eye. It is bright enough to contrast all the browns and tans that she is gathering. She pulls it out and thinks about all of the beautiful things Lynette could make with it. It was the perfect colour for a 5-year-old who wants to learn how to knit. Sally places it with the sweater and finds Emily's first set of knitting needles. A warm feeling spreads through her as she thinks about their new little knitting circle that is forming. She finishes pulling out the necessary yarn for the teddy bears and begins knitting up the first one. The early rows go slowly, but there is love and care in each and every stitch. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. She finishes the head of the bear before she hears her phone ring one more time. This is the call she has been expecting all day. "It's time," was all she heard on the other line before it went silent. Sally smiles and puts the phone down. She grabs her bags and her current knitting project. She knows there will still be a wait once she arrives. She will have time to show little Lynette her current project. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Full body scan. Breathe in through your nose. Relax your forehead. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Unclench your jaw. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Relax your back. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Relax your arms breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Relax your abdomen. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Relax your legs. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Relax your feet. Breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose. Feel your body release all of the tension from the day. Breathe out through your mouth. Jenny and Kylie haven't seen each other for a few months. Life and kids have kept them busy. Tonight they met up for drinks at their favourite bar. Their husbands were watching all 5 kids for once. Tonight was their chance to escape. Jenny ordered a margarita the size of her head, and Kylie ordered a rum and coke. They were both very happy that Jenny's husband recommended taking a lift, so they didn't have to worry about how much they had to drink. One reason they loved this bar was that they never skimped on the alcohol content of their drinks. "Jenny, do you remember that summer after high school?" Kylie asked before taking a large sip of her drink. "Yes," Jenny reminisced. "We had so much fun. Our parents threatened to tie us to our desk chairs to keep us in the house just a little longer." "As if that would have worked," Kylie laughed. She loved to think of the simpler times before husbands, bills and kids took over her brain. "The day you got your licence, we swore we would put as many miles on your dad's old convertible as possible." "He regretted giving me the keys almost instantly," Jenny said between sips of her margarita. "He threatened to take them away more than once. If he'd only knew how many boys were in that back seat that summer, even now I think it would make him faint." "As if that got better once we started college. I think you went through more boys in one semester than your sister did in her 4 years of college combined," Kylie laughed. "You certainly embraced your freedom. I don't know how you kept your 4.0 average." "Luck," Jenny shrugged. "I really couldn't tell you, but you aren't joking. I definitely chose some real winners that year. Do you remember John Maurer?" "Oh my God, was that the one that made you jump out of the bathroom window to escape that horrible date?" Kylie laughed, but had a look of sympathy on her face. That was a bad weekend for Jenny. "He was, and there was that rose bush beneath that window." Jenny shook her head as she recalled the night. "My favourite dress was ruined, and I had to walk home because I let him drive like an idiot." "At least that lesson seemed to stick. I don't think you let another guy pick you up for a date until you'd been dating for at least a month." Kylie ordered nachos and another round of drinks. They continued to banter back and forth about some of their worst dates while they were in college. While Jenny had to jump out of a window, at least she never got stood up. If Kylie actually went out on a date, they tended to be really fun, but, for whatever reason, she seemed to attract the flakiest men. "One thing was a constant, though," Kylie said wistfully. "You were always there with cookie dough and wine coolers to make me feel better, or just to hear all of the gossip afterwards." "Of course," Jenny said. "That's what friends do." She raised her glass for a toast. "Friends till the end." "Cheers, friends till the end," Kylie echoed, clinking glasses before downing the rest of her rum and coke. "Another," Jenny sang. The alcohol was setting in, and she was feeling free. "How crazy do you think the kids are making the guys tonight?" "Who cares?" Kylie giggled. "Tonight is our night to be free. I love both of my kids, but it's nice to have some adult conversation without being interrupted by their questions." "Ain't it the truth, sister?" Jenny responded. She still checked her phone to make sure Paul hadn't texted her. Kylie threatened to take her phone away if she checked her phone one more time. Tonight was supposed to be time for them to get away from real life. They were supposed to be dreaming of their summer on the beaches of Mexico. Kylie wanted to plan their next vacation. We got so sunburned every year on spring break. You would have thought we would get the message that sunscreen is our friend after we became lobsters the first year. But, oh, those cabana boys were cute, Jenny recalled. I think I slept with 3 of them that year. Only 3? I'm disappointed, Jen, Kylie teased. How many times did you have to explain that you weren't pregnant, just embarrassed? Our Spanish was so bad. Oh, yes, the old ladies were mortified that I was drinking on more than one occasion. We had a blast, though. I'm glad that Sasha stayed home. She would have been a complete killjoy, Jenny remembered. I don't even know why I invited my snobby older sister on a vacation when my goal was to have as much fun as possible. Her idea of fun was reading the Odyssey and talking about philosophy. Yuck. Does she even know how to interact with her nieces? You can't tell a 4-year-old that they are wasting their lives away, Kylie laughed. She thought she was hilarious. Sasha is actually really good with the girls. She does give them books for their birthday and Christmas, but she loves them, and it shows. She taught Livy how to tie her shoes and took all 3 of the girls to the stables to see her horses. They couldn't stop talking about it for weeks, Jenny smiled. Her sister might be a high-powered lawyer that made grown men wet themselves, but she could pick up a kid's fake telephone with the best of them. I know she's great. She just has her own way of looking at things, Kylie explained. She had no patience for our party ways and thought we were both going to flunk out of school. Oh, you are completely right. She told me never to tell her about our crazy weekends. After 1 year during midterms we pulled 4 straight all-nighters and got drunk while studying. I thought she was going to pass out from the look on her face. Sasha would never dream of drinking while doing any type of schoolwork. In their school days, Sasha and Jenny couldn't have been more different, but they had become a lot closer since Joanna, Jenny's older daughter, was born. Sasha had no interest in having her own kids, but she was an amazing aunt. When the twins came along, she was an extra pair of hands that Jenny needed now that she and Mark were outnumbered. Olivia clung to her aunt, while Hayley needed her mama's love more. Next time, we should invite her to come out with us. I am sure she remembers our college days differently, and honestly, probably better than we do, Kylie said, finishing her 3rd rum and coke. She never understood how anyone could avoid parties, drinking, and taking advantage of the freedom that college provided as Sasha did, but she did respect her for it. We definitely should. She has definitely mellowed out since you last spent any time with her. Jenny's alarm went off and made her jump. How in the world has it gotten so late? We have been talking non-stop. The drinks here have a way of making you forget time exists. But it was nice to be able to talk about the early days, Kylie said, or as I like to call them, the before times. You are right, we needed this. The more I get away from the kids and Mark, the easier it will be for me. I just miss my munchkins. I can't tell you the last time I wasn't home for bedtime, Jenny admitted. We should make time at least once a month to get out and do something. It doesn't even have to be drinks every time. The first Sunday of every month we commit to making grown-up girl time a priority, Kylie exclaimed. It was obvious that she was more than tipsy, as her volume and exuberance increased exponentially. Cheers to that, Jenny replied, raising her glass again. To Saturday nights with adults. Jenny clinked her glass against Kylie's empty one. Her words were slurred. I think Jacob and Mark would tell us that it is time to head home. Have I told you how much I love Jacob and the boys? Kylie squealed. They are so sweet. I want to hug and kiss them all. She pulled her phone out and scheduled a lift to bring them home. Time with the girls was amazing, but Jenny is right. Her kids meant the world to her. Missing bedtime was harder than she remembered. They arrived home and saw that the kids were all camping out on the living room, fast asleep in their sleeping bags. Jacob and Mark could smell the alcohol on the ladies and knew that they had had a great time. Let's head to bed. There is no need to wake the munchkins, Jacob reasoned. They all made their way upstairs. Mark and Jenny knew better than anyone where the guest room was, and Jacob and Kylie made their way to their bedroom. I love you so much, Jacob, Kylie sang as she curled up in bed. I am so glad that you didn't stand me up in college." Before Jacob could respond, Kylie was snoring softly, already prancing through dreamland. He kissed her forehead and told her good night, before quickly following her. Chapter 5. Save a Dance for Me. Abdominal breathing. Lay on your back. Place one hand on your stomach and one on your chest. Take a deep breath and focus on filling your abdomen with air. Breathe out and feel your abdomen empty. Hold for a count of 4 before repeating. Shayla and Durin had been flirting for months leading up to the end-of-year party, but neither of them had gotten up the courage to ask the other to go out with them. So they had each decided to go with a group of friends instead. There was less pressure that way, and nobody's feelings got hurt. Shayla was on her way to Donella's house so they could start getting ready for the party. She had brought 4 different dresses to choose from. Donella would have to help her choose the perfect one. Each accentuated different parts of her curvaceous figure. Her eyes were as blue as the ocean, and she had a beautiful tan. Donella made her try on all the dresses so she could pick the winner. Any of the dresses would look amazing, but the royal blue dress that hugged her small waist was going to make Durin drool. It made Shayla's eyes pop and elongated her legs. Donella pulled out a simple necklace that fell right at the peak of Shayla's cleavage. It was a nice, understated piece that pulled the outfit together. Donella chose an emerald party dress with a black lace bodice for herself. She had no interest in capturing any guy's attention in any serious way, but if she happened to make 1 or 2 pine for her, she wasn't going to complain. She knew just what they wanted and how to keep it from them. "Don, you are such a tease, you know that," Shayla smiled. "Orin and Alistair won't know what to do with themselves. They have been trying to get your attention all year." "Well, that sounds like a problem for them, not me, doesn't it?" Donella replied, with a mischievous grin. Shayla shook her head. "Those poor boys," she thought to herself. "They couldn't have picked anyone who was less interested in dating than Donella to lust after." "Well, I want to catch Durin's attention. Help me with my makeup?" Shayla asked, rolling her eyes at her best friend. "Of course," Donella replied. "He will regret not asking you to be his date when I am done with you." Donella went to work quickly. She was masterful at doing her friends' makeup in ways that made them feel pretty without caking on needless layers of stuff. "Take a look, Shay." Shayla turned to the mirror and was stunned. Her makeup looked natural, but also elegant and classy. "You are a superstar. Let's go and break some hearts," she squealed. They grabbed their jackets and jumped in the car. They still had to pick up Maddie and Tina before heading to the party. Donella cranked the music and opened the sunroof. It was a beautiful evening as they drove up the Washington coast. Maddie and Tina were waiting outside Maddie's when they arrived. "You look gorgeous," Shayla squealed as the girls got into the car. "I guess there is a reason they call us the Fab Four." The girls chatted away as Donella drove the rest of the way to the party. Before they walked in, they all checked their hair and makeup and straightened their dresses. "Are you ready to make some jaws drop, ladies?" Tina asked. "My beautiful heartbreakers, let's do this," Maddie exclaimed. They walked through the door with confidence, and, as predicted, Durin, Oren and Alistair stopped in their tracks. The gentlemen looked stunning in their suits. They had even combed their hair. Durin was the first to gather his confidence and approached the girls. "Well, hello, gorgeous," he greeted Shayla. "You look stunning tonight." Shayla blushed at the compliment. "Thank you. You don't look half bad yourself." "I look gorgeous too," Donella said, inserting herself into their conversation. Let's get drinks, Shay. She pulled Shayla away. He doesn't get to monopolise your attention tonight. If he wanted that, he should have asked you to be his date, she whispered to Shay. As they were walking away, Durin grabbed Shayla's hand. Please save one dance for me, Shay. You look absolutely amazing, and it would break my heart if you didn't, he requested. Trying to play it cool, Shayla told him that she would try. She followed Donella to the snack table and filled a glass with punch. Don, what do I do? When should I dance with him? She asked, desperate to have a plan. Donella and Tina flanked her as they made suggestions. Maybe she should save the last dance for Durin, or the one in the middle. Maybe she should forget altogether. They stopped talking to Shayla and ended up bantering back and forth, debating what the best method was. None of their advice seemed to help, so Shayla slipped away to find Maddie. Maddie, what do I do? She pleaded. Shay, you have to do what feels right in your heart, Maddie replied. Do you like him? Do you want to dance with him? Oh, Maddie, you know how much I like him. I hoped he would ask me to the dance, Shay whined. But he didn't. Does that mean he loses his chance to dance with me? Shayla, go ask that boy to dance. Stop torturing yourself with what you should do and start living your own life. Maddie spun her around and pushed her gently towards where Durin and his friends were standing. Well, here goes nothing, Shayla thought. I just have to ask the boy I have been in love with all year to dance in front of all his friends. No big deal, right? She felt her stomach clench as she approached the group of guys, but she didn't let any fear show on her face. She gently tapped Durin on the shoulder. Would you like to dance with me, Durin? She asked. She didn't know how else to start, even though he had requested a dance earlier. Why, of course I would like to dance with you, Shay. He allowed Shayla to link her arm with his as he escorted her to the centre of the dance floor. She heard whistles from his friends. She knew they were all watching, and that made her blush. Ignore them, Shay. They are just being silly guys. The only person in this room that I care about is you. Durin seemed to know exactly how to calm her nerves, just in time for the next song to start. I am not the best dancer, so, I'm sorry if I step on your toes, Shayla whispered. I don't mind. That means you are close enough to reach my toes, and that makes me happier than I can tell you, Durin replied, as he easily spun her around the dance floor. One song faded into the next, and neither of them showed signs of wanting to stop. It wasn't until they needed a drink that they realised they must have danced half the night away. Durin grabbed them sodas from the table, while Shayla found a place to sit. They caught their breath and scanned the room. Poor Orrin was getting turned down by Donella once again. Tina was dancing with Foster, and Maddie and Blaze were deep in conversation. See what I meant? None of them are paying attention to us. And you know, you are not as bad a dancer as you made it seem. You know how to follow well, Durin told her. Shayla wanted to believe that nobody was paying attention to them, but she knew her friends well enough that despite their outward appearances, they knew exactly what she was doing. They had planned a sleepover after the dance to catch up on any details that might have been missed as well. You don't know Donella. She has had our eyes on us the entire time. She is going to want all of the mushy details when we get in the car, Shay sighed. Then don't get in the car, Durin replied plainly. Excuse me? Shayla wasn't sure exactly what he meant. How else am I supposed to get home? Well, I have a car. I could drive you home, he smiled. Oh dear, that is so sweet, but I can't leave my girls hanging. Plus, all of my stuff is at Don's house. I am supposed to stay there tonight. Shayla felt flush as his offer sank in. Don't worry, I won't share anything embarrassing. I just don't want you to be uncomfortable. I should have asked you to be my date tonight. I don't know why I was so nervous, Durin confessed. I could have asked you just the same, you know, Shayla replied. She was trying to keep her face in check while she was screaming inside of her head. Let's not think of what should have happened or about Donna's interrogation. Let's just dance a while longer. That sounds perfect, Shay. Durin helped Shayla to her feet and swept her off to the dance floor. They danced for the rest of the evening, and ignored the looks of their friends and classmates. It was like they were alone in a room with a really great DJ. Shayla felt light as a feather in Durin's arms. She didn't want to leave his arms. But alas, as all things do, the party came to an end. The last song was her favourite slow song in the world. She rested her head on his shoulder and revelled at how close they were. Even after a night of dancing under hot party lights, he still smelled delicious. When the final notes played, he tilted her head up ever so slightly and placed a gentle kiss on her lips. Shayla thought she might pass out as a strong, tingly feeling spread through her core. She regained her composure once he released the kiss, and they left the dance floor. "Dieu, this was the most amazing night ever. Thank you." Shayla smiled up at him. "It was my pleasure, Shay. Next time, I promise, I will ask you to be my date." Durin kissed the back of her hand. "Call me tomorrow after your sleepover." "I will." Shay was on cloud 9. "Have fun with the girls and tell them whatever you want. There is nothing I could do with you that would make me embarrassed." Durin smiled and walked back to his friends on that final statement. Shayla met up with Donella, Tina and Maddie in the ladies' room. She thought a bomb had gone off with how quickly and loudly they all started throwing questions at her. She smiled and let the questions come at her. "I am ready to go home. I am exhausted," she said, with a yawn to punctuate her statement. "Let's go then. You can tell us everything on the way," Donella replied, and led them back to her car. Shayla was glad that Maddie pushed her to do what she wanted tonight. Now she just had to decide how much to share with her best friends. "Can I just enjoy this for a few moments? I can answer your questions when we get back to Donella's place." That statement shocked her friends into silence. Shayla was not usually so bold, especially around her friends' huge personalities. Whatever happened tonight changed her for the better, it would seem. Chapter 6. Fairy Party. Yoga breathing. Gently close your mouth, keeping your teeth parted slightly. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your nose. Keep your inhale and exhale the same length. The enchanted forest is just beginning to stir. The sun is rising slowly and the birds are singing. It is time for another fabulous day. Trixie opens her eyes and rubs the sleep out of them. She remembers that today is her best friend's birthday and floats out of bed. There is so much to do before the party begins. She leaves her nest and flies to Maisie's tree. "Wake up, birthday girl," she sings as she floats around Maisie's head. She is so excited that fairy dust is sprinkling down all over her friend's bed. I'm up," Maisie squeals. "Will you stop dusting me?" Maisie shook the fairy dust out of her pink hair. She spread her wings and stretched her tiny arms and legs. "How do you have so much energy before the sun is in the sky?" "It's your birthday, Maisie. You should have as much energy as I do today." It seemed that Trixie's energy was boundless on this beautiful morning. "There are so many things we can do today, plus your party is tonight." "Okay, all right, I am up. Can we at least eat before we start whatever you have planned? I am hungry," Maisie requested. "Oh, breakfast sounds great. I passed a berry bush on the way over that had the shiniest fruit. We should gather some breakfast and save some for your cake." Trixie did a big flip over Maisie's head, sprinkling more fairy dust all over her. "Let's go." Maisie finished getting ready to go out for the day. She picked out her favourite blue dress that complemented her purple hair and wings. She put her hair in space buns and was ready for her friend's crazy adventure. Trixie was always up for a good time, and Maisie was crazy enough to follow along. Today was no exception. They found the bush that Trixie mentioned and picked juicy red berries. They filled their bellies quickly and brought the rest of them to the baker. "There is nothing that can match fresh berries on a beautiful birthday cake," Bertie the baker said. He would add them to Maisie's cake to give it a natural sweetness and use any extra to decorate his masterpiece. "I will see you girls tonight at the party. Your cake is going to look amazing, Maisie." "Thanks, Bertie. See you then," Maisie replied. She was starting to feel the excitement of her birthday now that she was fully awake and her stomach stopped grumbling. Trixie and Maisie flew off to find flowers to put in their hair for the party tonight. The field on the edge of the forest was full of different kinds of flowers and plants. Trixie chose yellow and red flowers, while Maisie picked out pretty pink buds for her hair. She was always finding ways to add as much colour to her outfits as possible. "You look like a cute little bisexual flag with wings," Trixie giggled. Maisie looked at her reflection in the creek. "I guess I do, but I just love the way these colours work together. They are so much fun," Maisie replied. "They do look amazing on you. I just think it's funny." Trixie hugged her best friend. Once their hair was full of floral adornments, they went to see who else was awake. They wanted to make sure that everyone looked their best for Maisie's birthday party. Trixie found Susie and Neil playing in the bushes. They were going to find the perfect present for Maisie before they got ready for the party. Maisie found Adelina and Ilyada in the creek, diving for shiny rocks. This party was going to be the best one of the year. Trixie and Maisie talked about all the fun things they would have at the party. The lightning bugs would provide sparkly lights for them to dance under. They had hired the nymphs of Noah to provide music and entertainment. It seemed like everything was ready to go. Trixie was vibrating with excitement. "Can I do your makeup?" Trixie begged. Maisie liked to do her hair and wear pretty dresses, but she rarely had the patience for makeup. It required sitting still for far too long. "It isn't every day that my best friend in the world turns 150 years old. Please!" Maisie pretended to protest Trixie's demands. She knew that it would make her pictures look better. Trixie was right. A girl doesn't turn a century and a half every day. "I guess if it will make you happy, I will endure the torture, my dear," Maisie replied in a faked, defeated tone. Trixie squealed in excitement. "Don't move a muscle," she commanded. She zoomed home to get her makeup kit. She was going to have so much fun painting Maisie's face. She thought about all of the shiny, sparkly makeup she would use. When she flew back and found Maisie posed like a statue right where she was when Trixie left. "Very funny, Maisie. You knew that wasn't what I meant," Trixie giggled. "Time to sit still and be a good model for me." Maisie perched on a branch and tried not to squirm. While she loved Trixie's attention to detail, it definitely felt like her makeup took ages to complete. Sitting still was not in a fairy's nature, especially one as young as Maisie. Her wings fluttered as she started to get antsy. "Just a little bit longer and I will be done," Trixie told her. "I just need to add the finishing touches. Then I can show you the final result." Trixie sprinkled some glitter over Maisie's eyeshadow and lip gloss. She flew back and looked at her work from every angle. "Perfect," she proclaimed. She grabbed Maisie's hand and dragged her to the creek. "Now you can look." Maisie peeked at her reflection in the water and was shocked at the girl who stared back at her. "Trixie, you are amazing! I don't think my makeup has ever looked this good," Maisie shrieked. "See? It makes sitting still a bit worthwhile, doesn't it?" Trixie asked. She loved doing makeup, but she only had one face, and she wanted to try out so many different looks. It made it easier when she had a model to play with. "Almost," Maisie replied. "It is almost worth sitting still. You know I would rather float around than be tied to one place for more than a moment." Maisie was down to earth, but she definitely needed to travel around the forest. "Tied down, got it. The next time I want to do your makeup, I will bring a few vines, Trixie teased. You look gorgeous, birthday girl. Let's go party. The sun was starting to set, and it would create the perfect atmosphere for a birthday party. The forest would be buzzing about it for months to come. By the time Maisie and Trixie arrived, the lightning bugs were flitting around the dance floor, and the nymphs of now were setting the mood. Bertie delivered the cake, and it looked beautiful under the stars. Maisie was shocked by how perfect everything looked. There were flowers and crystals decorating every table. She smelled a delicious dinner and saw all of her friends. Trixie really outdid herself this time. Trix, I had no idea you had all this planned. It is perfect. Maisie hugged Trixie tight and nearly began to cry. Maise, why are you crying? Trixie hugged her back. I am just so happy, hun. It is everything I could have ever wished for and more. Maisie sniffed and kissed Trixie's hand. They greeted all their friends and started dancing to the music. Adelina, Neil, Susie, and Iliada were all there and having a blast. Happy birthday, Maisie, Iliada said. This party is amazing. Thank you, Illy, Maisie responded, but I can't take any credit for the party. Trixie did all the work. Shush you, Trixie giggled and blushed. You deserve all of this and more. Let's party, birthday girl. She flew to the middle of the dance floor, dragging Maisie and Illy with her. They danced the night away. Their wings were worn out by the time the band wrapped up. It certainly was the best party of the year. Maisie would never forget the day she turned 150 years old. Conclusion. Quick tips to sleep better. Meditation is a great way to ease your mind into a restful state once you get into bed. However, there are things that you can do before bed that can make it easier to fall asleep and stay asleep. You can start with one small action that will make a big difference before you try to do everything and overwhelm yourself. While it is easy to feel helpless about the quality of our sleep because a certain amount of it is out of our direct control, having good sleep hygiene can improve your sleep in measurable ways. Here are some tips to improve yours. Create a routine. Humans are creatures of habit. The same way you can switch into autopilot on the way to work, you can train your brain to switch into autopilot before bed. Try a few different types of routines to see what works best for you. But remember, that doesn't mean to do a different thing every night of the week. Give your body and brain time to build the muscle memory before saying that a particular routine doesn't work. Here are some basic things you can include. Brush your teeth at the same time every night. Lay out your clothes for the next day. Put the dog out one last time. Plug all of your electronics in so you are fully charged for the next day. Go to bed at the same time every night, regardless of whether you have work or school the next day. Follow a guided meditation to relax your mind. Put the gadgets down. We spend our days glued to the tiny computers in our pockets. They connect us to the world around us and allow us to communicate with our friends and family. This is a great thing for our mental health. However, the blue light they produce throws off your circadian rhythm. Your body doesn't know when to shut down because of the constant stimulation. Putting your phone down a couple of hours before bed not only gives your eyes a break from the blue light, it gives you an opportunity to disconnect from the world and wind down. If this is not possible, there are a few things you can do to lessen the impact these devices have on your sleep. Turn on the blue light filter a few hours before bed. Turn email notifications off. Utilize parental controls to disable apps that will distract you after a certain time. Tell your friends and family when it is getting close to bedtime. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Set your alarms early. Many people use their phones or other gadgets as their alarm. This is great because it is always with them. But having your alarms set for the next day long before bed removes the need to interact with your phone once you have gotten in bed. It also removes a degree of stress about whether or not they are set properly. Bed is for sleeping. It is tempting to lay in bed and play games, read or talk on the phone, but your bed should be for sleeping. That way your body knows that if you are laying down, it is time to shut down. This means that once you wake up in the morning, your body will know it is time to get out of bed as well. Make lists. If you find your mind is running a mile a minute as you are getting ready for bed, have a notebook ready to jot down all of the thoughts that are distracting you from sleep. If you tend to wake up in the middle of the night thinking about what you need to do the next day, keep a book light that has an amber light with your notebook so you can jot the ideas down and not worry about forgetting them the next day. Make your bed. Make it a habit to change your sheets regularly. This will give you a nice fresh place to lay down when it is time for bed. Making your bed in the morning will also help you to avoid the temptation of crawling back in bed or lying in bed to do something other than sleep. Find the right temperature. It is not uncommon to hear that people wake up too hot or too cold in the middle of the night. It is important to understand what temperature is right for you at night. This also means finding the right blanket, and sometimes you and your partner may need different types of blankets to be able to get the best quality sleep, and that is okay. Listen to calming music. There are many different sounds that help us relax naturally. This may be sounds of nature or a calming symphony. It is important to find something that works for you. This may involve some trial and error to find the right mix. This will also fall into your routine, as mentioned above. Some people like to fall asleep to music, while others prefer silence or white noise. If you fall into the second category, you can still listen to music while you get ready for bed to help shift your mind into that more relaxed state. Don't leave projects until the last minute. Nothing is more stressful than trying to go to bed when you know you have lots of work waiting for you in the morning to hit an important deadline. If you plan your time well, you should be able to rest easy knowing that you have done everything in your power to produce your highest quality of work and meet the deadline provided to you. These tips and tricks will help you reduce the feeling that you cannot control how well you sleep by slowly making it easier to fall asleep, stay asleep, or fall back asleep. It is not recommended to try and implement all of these changes at one time. If you do, it is likely going to overwhelm you and have the opposite effects than those you were hoping for. But picking one or two that you believe will work best for you can still make a big difference in your quality of sleep. Don't judge yourself for the quality of your sleep or how many of these tips you can implement. That is not the point of these exercises. The combination of these tips and the simple breathing exercises throughout this book will lead you to some of the best sleep you have experienced in your life, as long as you remember to show yourself some grace.